Good evening and welcome back to another episode of The Longing, where today we are going to be continuing to read the Iliad by Homer. So, let's get going. Tripod. So they, meanwhile, the silver-footed dame, reached the Vulcanian dome, eternal frame, high eminent amid the works divine, where heaven's far-beaming brazen mansions shine. There the lame architect the goddess found, obscure in smoke his forges flaming round, while bathed in sweat from fire to fire he flew, and puffing loud the roaring billows blew. That day no common task his labour claimed, full 20 tripods for his hall he framed, that placed on living wheels of massy gold, wondrous to tell, instinct with spirit rolled, from place to place around the blessed abodes, self-moved, obedient to the beck of gods. For their fair handles now o'erwrought with flowers, in moulds prepared the glowing ore he pours. Just as responsive to his thought the frame stood prompt to move, the azure goddess came. Charis, his spouse, a grace divinely fair, with purple fillets around her braided hair, observed her entering, her soft hand she pressed, and smiling thus the watery queen addressed. What goddess this unusual favour draws? All hail and welcome whosoe'er the cause, till now a stranger in a happy hour approach and taste the dainties of the bower. Thetis and Eurynome receiving the infant Vulcan. High on a throne with stars of silver graced, and various artifice the queen she placed. A footstool at her feet then calling said, Vulcan draw near, 'tis Thetis asks your aid. Thetis replied, the god our powers may claim, an ever dear and honoured an ever honoured name. When my proud mother hurled me from the sky, my awkward form, it seems, displeased her eye. She and Eurynome my griefs redressed, and soft received me on their silver breast. Even then these arts employed my infant thought, chains, bracelets, pendants, all their toys I wrought. 9 years kept secret in the dark abode, secure I lay, concealed from man and god. Deep in a caverned rock my days were led, the rushing ocean murmured o'er my head. Now, since her presence glads our mansion say, for such desert what service can I pay? Vouchsafe, O Thetis, at our board to share the genial rites and hospitable fare, while I the labours of the forge forego, and bid the roaring bellows cease to blow. Then from his anvil the lame artist rose, wide with distorted legs oblique he goes, and stills the bellows, and in order laid, locks in their chests his instruments of trade. Then with a sponge the sooty workman dressed, his brawny arms embrowned and hairy breast. With his huge sceptre graced the red attire, came halting forth the sovereign of the fire. The monarch's steps 2 female forms uphold, that moved and breathed in animated gold, to whom was voice and sense and science given, of works divine such wonders are in heaven. On these supported with unequal gait, he reached the throne where pensive Thetis sate. There placed beside her on the shining frame, he thus addressed the silver-footed dame. Thee welcome, goddess, what occasion calls, so long a stranger to these honoured walls? 'Tis thine, fair Thetis, the command to lay, and Vulcan's joy and duty to obey. Vulcan and Charis receiving Thetis, to whom the mournful mother thus replies, the crystal drops stood trembling in her eyes. O Vulcan, say, what ever breast divine, so pierced with sorrows, so o'erwhelmed as mine, Of all the goddesses did Jove prepare for Thetis only such a weight of care. Only I of all the watery race, by force subjected to a man's embrace, who, sinking now with age and sorrow, pays the mighty fine imposed on length of days. Sprung from my bed a godlike hero came, the bravest sure that ever bore the name. Like some fair plant beneath my careful hand, he grew, he flourished, and he graced the land. To Troy I sent him, but his native shore never shall receive him more. Even while he lives he wastes with secret woe, nor I, a goddess, can retard the blow. Robbed of the prize the Grecian suffrage gave, the king of nations forced his royal slave. For this he grieved until the Greeks oppressed required his arm, he sorrowed unredressed. Large gifts they promise and their elders send, in vain he arms not, but permits his friend his arms, his steeds, his forces to employ. He marches, combats, almost conquers Troy. Then slain by Phoebus, Hector had the name, at once resigns his armour, life, and fame. But thou in pity be my prayer, be won, grace with immortal arms this short-lived son, and to the field in martial pomp restore, to shine with glory till he shines no more. To her, the artist god, thy griefs resign, secure what Vulcan can is ever thine. O could I hide him from the fates as well, or with these hands the cruel stroke repel, as I shall forge most envied arms, the gaze of wondering ages and the world's amaze. Thus having said, the father of the fires to the black labours of his forge retires. Soon as he bade them blow, the bellows turned their iron mouths, and where the furnace burned, resounding breathed at once the blast expires, and 20 forges catch at once the fires. Just as the god directs, now loud, now low, they raise a tempest or they gently blow. In hissing flames huge silver bars are rolled, and stubborn brass and tin and solid gold. Before deep fixed the eternal anvils stand, the ponderous hammer loads his better hand. His left with tongs turns the vexed metal round, and thick strong strokes the doubling vaults rebound. Then first he formed the immense and solid shield, rich various artifice emblazed the field. Its utmost verge a threefold circle bound, 253, a silver chain suspends the massy round. 5 ample plates the broad expanse compose, and godlike labours on the surface rose. There shone the image of the master mind, their earth, their heaven, their ocean he designed. The unwearied sun, the moon completely round, the starry lights that heaven's high convex crowned, the Pleiades, Hyads with northern team, and great Orion's more effulgent beam, to which around the axle of the sky the bear revolving points his golden eye, still shines exalted on the ethereal plain, nor bathes his blazing forehead in the main. 2 cities radiant on the shield appear, the image one of peace and one of war. Here sacred pomp and genial feast delight, and solemn dance and hymeneal rite. Along the street the new-made brides are led, with torches flaming to the nuptial bed. The youthful dancers in a circle bound, to the soft flute and cithern's silver sound. Through the fair streets the matrons in a row stand in their porches and enjoy the show. And with that, we come to the end of yet another episode. There we are. So, as with usual, I will say thank you very much for joining us today. I hope you all have a wonderful morning, evening, afternoon or night, no matter what time of day it is. I hope you all have a wonderful one of it. And as always, we will be back tomorrow for more of The Longing. Goodbye.